Hello and welcome back to Time for You with Shailia Stevens
Hello.
and Leah Wernli, the friends who just want to hang out, and maybe you want to hang out with us as well today. So, um, I am into a tool at the moment. And actually, it came out of the community in a way. And I mean, it caused a lot of uh, conflicts as well in the community. And um, that's always very interesting to me
The three
when,
principles community. Is that what you're
yes,
talking about?
yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, but it came through Steve Hardison and Bill Petit, the document that Shailia was also very interested when Bill was talking about it. And I didn't do that. It was just the entrance point
Mm.
somehow. And I did work a bit with Ankush Jain this summer, so I could touch there a few things. I did read Steve Hardison's book about like being, like really changing deeply from the inside out to become another person. And then I worked and work with a German coach. She's very deep into non-duality and manifestation from non-duality, from this place within. And she had the same in another form, in another language. And during the whole time, I started to create something out of a lot of these different things. I also went down the rabbit hole. Where do all of these guys have it from? And of course, it's a spiritual, religious, and also practice in politics. It's called recitation, like speaking your vision, what you want into the world. That's one part of it. And the other part is this whole subconsciousness, like train neurologically new things like the affirmation, like Louis Hay, and one step back after religion and spirituality, it's a doctor called Kane, I think. I have to look it up. It's someone who was working with hypnotherapy and realized that when he gave out medication, that if that when he made the people affirm like I'm getting better and better and better every day, that they did get better a
Mm.
lot quicker. So that are things that coming into this kind of tool. And also something called um oh God, I had it. Just I will look it up as well. It's someone who was a surgeon, a clinical surgeon, a beauty surgeon that realized that he had two different kind of people, like the ones who totally had a different life after surgery and the ones who had exactly the same miserable life. And as we know with the principles, of course, it was their thinking that changed or didn't change. But what he also tracked down was that they they changed their personality from the outside in. It's also interesting.
Mm.
So they changed the breasts and they thought, I'm a different person now. And the other half of the people didn't think that they were a different person. So there is also this that Steve Hardison has in the book and how he talks about it, like the changing of the being, like the identity changing in a way.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
with Hardison, it's even deeper. It's the whole being from your essence. And for me, of course, as well, it's always like mind guided. Like, highest purpose guided, like what wants your essence, but for real. And what would you want to do if there were no boundaries and and nothing in between, and if you wouldn't believe your thinking,
Mm.
etc., etc. So it is a tool that you you can do in different ways, as all these people are doing it. Bob Proctor does it as well, like
Yeah.
in the whole law of attraction things. So, and you create like a version with all what you want, and in my version is also all who you are and what is already good and what you want from there as well. So what we talked last time,
Yeah.
like really looking in the direction of what is already there, and I put on top of the already there what I want even more of. So going like the gratitude and multiply path in a way as well. And what I have in it, and that a lot of these people don't do that, is kind of your worst fears, but really feeling them and changing them into the maybe a doorway in for your most fulfilled and lightest life.
Mm.
So, and it's a thing, it's a process, it's a tool, it's fun to play, and it's on the goal like line. It's on the hey, how can we have fun in this life as a person, as a community? What would be nice? What would be fun? What would benefit the world as well?
Yeah.
And and starting to play with that. But actually, what I wanted to point out today is I I I speak it into the world like every day with a group now, with a group that is led by this Raphael Bontacourt. It's a German guy, and I will do it with a group as well, or I am doing it right now probably. And what he is pointing out that it's not an insight tool or even an an transformation tool in the sense of um, mm, seeing things, but more uh, a transformational journey into doing things from this new state.
Mm.
So what we were discussing a lot is this gap between what you should do, but you don't do it often,
Mm.
or a lot of people are in this. And we can take a very simple, um, uh, or it's not that simple, but a very obvious example is someone wants to lose weight. Out there is everything that you need, and still it's very hard because there is this gap on really doing it and being able to do it and not get carried away with your thinking and low mood and whatever comes in your way. So this tool guides you towards what you want, focus you towards what is already good, and then you start to act. You're like invited to really see the nuggets and do it. And also, what's in it is to not go with your lowest standard in life. Like if we can take the sink as a example. For some people, if there is one glass that's too much, they need to clean, and for others is 15 glasses, and then they clean. It's their lowest standard of being okay. and
Mm.
to high up, how do you say that, to
Up level.
up level your standard, and not like you don't have to try to up level it from 0 to 100, but just like here. And on my tool, on my love letter, for example, is I I move every day. I move my face and my body every day. And you have seen me,
Yeah.
and someone who is a personal or used to be a personal trainer too told me that I'm the fittest that you guys have ever seen me,
Yeah.
like physically. And
Absolutely.
and it reminds me, like, and I do it. And I just do it. And even if it's just the doable of the 5 minutes at the end of the day, I do it no matter what. So you start to grow into that, and you start to do the things. And I don't listen to one person when I'm down like path like that. I listen to tons to build my own opinion and to even tweak the things and to make it even more transformative or faster. Or I love that. I
Mm.
used to be a teacher and whatever. I don't know if it's from there, but what I also heard one of the manifestation teachers talking about was they also have it, they call it energetic Ausrichtung,
Direction.
direction, vision, visualizing, whatever your document. There were a lot of names. She also said, and that's again this gap, like being able to move toward the action, toward the inspired action, that she isn't waiting till she has the oh, not sure, oh, life wants me there, or oh, I feel good, but she is looking at her, in my case, love letter. What do I really want from the highest self and the essence and for the good of the world? And then when there is an invitation or when there comes something up, then she she looks if that's compatible with her love
Yeah.
letter.
Yeah.
And even though when she doesn't feel like it, it's like, oh, I did right that I want to touch 1,000 people to have a lighter life. That's a podcast with a huge reach. Oh, yeah, well, yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Mm.
So, and sometimes I see people who have seen things deeply in the three principle or non-duality or spirituality that they're not doing because they wait for inspired action or being aligned or being present enough or and if I would do that, Shailia, I mean,
Mm.
I have a business that sustains me and
Mm.
and now a body that I want to have. And now if I would wait till I would feel like it, forget it. I would lay on the floor. And that's cool too. I
Yeah.
mean, that's very cool if that's your vision. And it could be. There are spiritual teachers, monks, nuns, people who have the calling and to vision to sit on the bench and be part of the awareness and that's the calling. But
Mm.
that's a different calling than if you want to play and be a part of this game of life.
Yeah.
So sometimes in my mind, I think there is a confusion around that. And I don't care what you guys think about the love letter or if you find it cool or not. It's not really about that, but about this, hey, I feel the direction. Oh, there. But then you need to do a, some often a tons of very uncomfortable things and hard things and strange things you're not used to or even bad at the beginning. And whoo, but it's there somehow.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you hear in my bubble bubble?
Well, I first and foremost have a lot of curiosity because I love it when you go down the rabbit hole on anything land. I just get like really curious about that. And I I don't think I have any thinking about it one way or another. What I feel is I see you being inspired by looking in that direction. I see it's something that's alive for you, whether it's going and getting informed about that and how people see it, experimenting with it to see what happens in your life. That I felt that, when we were in Turkey, um, when I saw you doing your daily workouts, like the movement, you've actually been doing that for a long time. I remember when we were in at the Bodensee during COVID, and you were also like moving a lot every day, maybe not to the level that you are at now, but or before you were going swimming in the river every day, or you're going dancing a lot, like even before that happened. So I I saw that, but then I saw there's just this different level of intensity that's going on with you at the moment. So, first and foremost, I just love when someone comes alive around anything that feels inspiring to them. And when you talk about it, whether it's in a private context or now in the podcast, I also a lot of times hear your curiosity when it comes to that piece of how can I help my clients get what they want in life, and what does that require, and questioning, is it about pointing yourself in that direction and letting life get you there, and there's not a lot for you to do? Or is there something for you to do? Like, do you need to wait for inspiration, or is there something you do even if you want to lay down? So, it's just that's the first thing that I hear, and I get curious about it. And when I look in my life, what I notice is if I come from the higher self, so whatever the higher self is, like some the life force that expresses through us as human beings, I can see a direction that life is taking through me in my expression. And what I notice is that there usually comes a point. So I saw recently for my own personal health, because I'll just take the topic of health,
Hmm.
because you were talking about the fitness level and wanting to move every day. And for me too, I think if I look into my old age, because I just turned 50, so I'm thinking, how's it going to be with 60? How's it going to be with 70? How's it going to be with
Hmm.
80? And really getting clear for myself. For example, when I look at my parents-in-law, who are over the age of 80 and who are very static in their being, they're experiencing a lot of physical issues just because they didn't take care of their physical body in a way. And having that contrast and being like, what do I want to be like with 80? And knowing from things that I've read, from things that I've watched, that there are a couple of things that really make a difference in that age. One of them being, for example, muscle strength, a huge factor in longevity, mobility, health in old age, and kind of pointing myself in that
Hmm.
direction and noticing that I automatically then started getting ideas popping up for things I could be doing to meet that thing. So I started doing CrossFit. I went yesterday for the fifth time. I told you I was gonna
Yeah, I
gonna
love it.
gonna gonna
Hmm.
go. And there, so when I hear you talking, I'll just tell you what comes up for me. So I've got a group of people around me. So my husband, my two neighbors, and they see that kind of too, and they want to go that direction. And I see I'm the only one in the group who is disciplined. And I use that word very lightly because I don't believe that discipline comes from me, like Shailia, the
Mm,
personality.
mhm,
It comes from I've seen the direction, I have clarity around what I want. And I notice that my spiritual self comes in and it's like, well, that's what you want. This is what we're going to do. And I don't make a compromise around that. I'm going Tuesday and Friday right now, regardless of what happens. I don't care. I don't care about excuses. I don't care if I'm tired. I don't care anything. I'm just going and I'm making that happen. And so I just noticed that once that that engine in me starts going around something, I see it start to build momentum on its own. So I don't see that there's anything I need to do
mhm.
to intensify that because there's a deeper power within me where that happens. Yeah.
Yeah, I have exactly the same.
Yeah.
And I think I, we don't need coaching.
Yep.
We don't need love letters.
Yep.
We don't need meditation. We don't need anything, but
Recitation. Mhm.
we can.
Yeah, you can.
And it could be an acceleration. You,
Yeah.
s- yeah. And what I see is, for me, it's the same. I wanted to be a coach and spread for a long time around the three principles or awareness or having less, um, uh, how do you say it? Leiden, suffering.
Yeah.
So you saw me, I just went out and did whatever the heck I needed to do.
Yeah.
And I see a lot of people not doing it.
Yeah.
And and sometimes a tool can be helpful. It's a
Sure.
doorway into the, oh, I'm able to do it no matter what. Or, oh, it's a possibility to focus on like the good stuff. Like you had an insight to write down all the things that are perfect or nice or great in your life and you're grateful for it. So you start a grateful journal because it can be helpful to to slow down the noise sometimes.
Yeah.
To just even with the noise be able to put on the shoes. To it can be helpful as bei den Bowling
A bowling bonder.
a bowling bande. What's the
Uh,
name in
the
English?
well, the bowling rails that come up for little
Yes,
children that help them
yes.
get hit the pins. Yeah.
And actually, I did restrict myself for quite a while to use tools or techniques or things that I was very good at before. And now I just don't because I don't give an F
Yeah.
because it's wisdom, life, mind through me. If I'm drawn to it mostly it's for my clients, as Shelley already pointed out. I do almost everything for my beloved ones and my clients
Yeah.
in a way. So if it's helpful, if it helps, just do whatever the heck comes to mind. And do not let the police in your head or the awareness police or the spiritual police or the this school does it that way police
Mm-mm.
let you um, hinder if you're drawn to a tool or a technique or a person who sees something.
Yeah,
Mm.
100%, Leah. I'm 100% with you. And I think that's the funny thing because I never forbode myself or
Mm-hmm.
forbid myself from using tools. It didn't occur to me that that tools are bad or that strategies are bad or that and coming to the three principles for me wasn't necessarily throwing that stuff out. I'm just more of a like a little bit of a lazy, relaxed spirit in a way. It's just if I can avoid a tool, I will.
Mhm. Yeah.
I just will. Like I can't get on board with journaling or meditating or resuscitation so far, just because it just seems like an extra to do that I would rather be outside in the
Mhm.
sunshine and sitting on the balcony kind of
Yeah.
a thing.
And
That's cool too.
it
Yeah,
is.
it's
It
cool too.
is.
But
Mhm.
if you feel like drawn, like you said, drawn, or if it's inspiring to you and you're interested, and that's exactly what I see happening in your direction, Leah. It's just this unbändig. What's the word in
Wild, and untamed.
a wild, unleashed curiosity
Mm.
about spirituality, about personal development. You got me onto some stuff with now what's his name? The other Steve, Steve Chandler. When you were talking about systems thinking, and there's a podcast about that. There's a book
Mhm.
about that. Like whatever helps you, go for it. I
Mhm.
I love it, and I think it's interesting, and I hope you'll tell me more about it. And maybe there's something in there that'll spark something for me.
Mhm.
I told you on the Turkey trip, I would love to sit down and write
Mhm.
a love letter to
And we
myself.
do that. And actually, I mean, I do not talk about the results yet, but they're like freaking amazing. I mean,
Mm,
it's a lot more money I make,
mm, yeah,
a ton more
yeah,
than I used to. I have to be honest that I was not able. I was able, but I was not focused on it.
yeah.
And now I've got a purpose behind. And it's kind of the same as you said, like I want to be free and fulfilled and generous when I'm older.
Yeah,
So I need to make a ton of money
yeah.
to be able to do that. I want to finance projects and donate and being able to let my son open a restaurant if he wants one day, and
Mm,
my mentee having a cosmetician salon. How do you say that? You know?
yeah. Hmm.
So it is from being inspired and to figure out how could that be? How the heck does that work? That thing that I didn't know
No.
much about. Yeah. So
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and
So,
it as we talked about last time, this focus on the good stuff. I didn't need it actually, just for you guys. For 7 years, I was so happy to not suffer. I was pleased and happy and over the top for not suffering. I was just in the moment, living life, feeling, doing whatever the heck came to mind, and it was perfect.
yeah.
And suddenly something sparked in me like, ooh, and and what if, and wanting to create in the form. And I saw during the 7 years that I manifested really easily and I couldn't figure out why. So I started to look into it for myself, for the clients. So
Yeah.
it was from a aliveness, as you said.
Yeah. And I think for me, what you're describing is kind of like a natural progression. Like somehow we're in life and in the whole conditioned cultural way we are, right? Like working 9 to 5. We need to make this amount of money, success because
Mm-hmm.
materialism is the societal standard. And then we're all in our heads and all that stuff. And then we come to this understanding, for example, of the three principles or something else.
Mm-hmm.
And
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. And then we wake up to a more spiritual understanding of who we are and how we work, whatever way you get there. And we figure out there's a another thing on offer besides being in a suffering state on the inside. And then for me, it's almost a natural progression. Not maybe not
Mm-hmm.
for
Yeah.
not for everybody, but then we do come alive.
Mm-hmm.
And we do start to then get more clarity because we're not thinking so much about our suffering and ourselves. It frees us up to be like, what's juicy? What do I want? Those heartfelt desires, like,
Mm.
but from that really deeper inside
Mm.
space, you know?
Yes.
Whatever that is, like you said, for someone it could be a deep spiritual journey of getting rid of all materialistic things,
Totally.
having nothing. For someone else, it could be having a comfortable, juicy older life where I'm financing and giving and whatever that is. And I think that's
Me.
yeah, and I think that's so beautiful. And that's the space where a lot of people don't get to because they're so stuck in the suffering for
Yes.
so long, you know?
Yes.
So I just
Yeah.
I just congratulate you for being there and for being in that juicy, curious, experimental space.
Yeah.
And I am so interested to see what's unfolding from that.
Oh, thank you, my darling. And you know what's the interesting thing? And as you said, it probably is like it could be a very natural unfolding because nothing is at stake.
Yeah,
I know. I mean, it could end tomorrow and I would begin and I would work as a teacher or in a coffee shop or do whatever the heck. And I'm happy already. So it's not the chase, it's the fun, the play, the the more experience
yeah,
in different areas of life.
yeah, yeah. I love that so much. And I hope you'll keep sharing and talking about it because I think it's a valuable direction to look in for people for
Mm.
sure, especially in this understanding sometimes we're like not suffering is enough and when we feel guilt
Mm-hmm.
we feel guilty about wanting
To
to
want more.
yeah
Yes.
yeah
I totally understand that.
yeah
And there is something, and maybe it just came up when we were talking, like this women and money, or middle aged and ADHD and money, and a lot of people afraid around money is and ah
yeah
that's um that could be very spiritual and very um how do you say that, opening as well to look in a direction that seems far away from a spiritual path.
yeah yeah 100% and
Hmm.
but I hear the spiritual spark in you and that's usually really all I'm ever interested in is like where's this exploration coming from and it's just joyful so I love it.
Thank you. So, guys, if you're still with us, we don't know. Maybe you heard something, maybe it triggered something, maybe you're curious too. Um, we are just grateful having you,
Mm.
and we have a lot of fun, and we hope that it's there is something for you too in it, and um, if it is helpful, you also could share it with someone,
Yep.
or they could give us some
A follow on
stars
Spotify. Oh,
on
some
the
stars.
follow.
Mm,
Yeah, let's
yeah.
do that. That would be very cool. So, see you soon
See you
and
soon.
bye.
Bye.